He's a little shy. Sorry, give him a second. This is Tonto. Okay, so there are a lot of topics that I could be discussing today, but the most useful topic to speak about would be sacrifice. Tonto, let me hear some out, please. A friend of mine shipped out for Marine Corps boot camp just a few weeks ago. His wife showed us his first letter, which was filled with regret and understandable shock. He stated that he was worried that he may not be cut out for it, and maybe that he made the wrong decision. Now, Punto, make no mistake, I can't think of any Marine who thought boot camp was a breeze and didn't have at least a brief moment of regret, to include myself. For a brief second, I'm going to ask you the true meaning of sacrifice. This man's name, in case you're wondering, is Josh Sparks. He's at boot camp today and probably attending church or preparing for his coming test as I stand here speaking. Meanwhile, his wife and child are somewhere out here in this audience. Think about that for a second. He left behind his wife and child for 3 months to begin the most challenging journey of his life. He did this because he felt that it was his duty as an American. He did this because he believes he can make a difference in society. Sounds pretty powerful for only 3 months, right? No, not really. The 3 months of rigorous training, excruciating physical torment, and the most difficult mental exhaustion that one man could experience in such a short period of time amounts to only one thing: the beginning of true sacrifice. You see, earning the title of a United States Marine and earning your Eagle Globe and Anchor is only the beginning of sacrifice to some. Unfortunately, I had to be the one to explain to him just that. While he has dedicated himself to sacrifice at least 4 years of his young life, 4 years that he could spend daily with his family at home, still yet there is more. More, you ask? Yep. He will move on from school to school where they will continuously train him to better survive any strenuous environment that our country may send him. He will work long, tiresome days while he is stateside, spend months and months away from North Carolina training in different states, and then deploy for 7 months at a time to foreign countries and risk his life so that you and I can have this opportunity to be at home and enjoy a beautiful Sunday in peace with our community. He will endure pain, agony, and loss on levels that most will never even be able to fathom. He will do this for us. Now, 15 years ago, when the Twin Towers fell, I was homesick from school and staying with my grandmother. She called my name and told me to come to the dining room. When I arrived, I saw the first tower smoking. I sat and listened to the news as everyone panicked in desperation. Then I watched the second plane hit right before my eyes. It was then that we both knew that this was a deliberate attack on the United States. I was filled with emotion. I wasn't even in high school yet. But I knew something had to be done. I instantly thought of my oldest brother and the possibility that he may be called off to war. I continued to watch the news in hopes of some sort of answer, while my grandmother wept for all the people who were dying in front of us. I thought there was nothing that we could do to help. We were too far away. The days after, I remember seeing something that I will never forget. America joined together in love and in national pride. People were rescuing others still trapped in the rubble, passing out food, water, and offering homes for shelter. I'd never felt so much like a real American in my life. In 2005, I stepped on the yellow footprints just as Josh did a few weeks ago. I felt that desire to do something to help since I couldn't on 9/11. I, along with many others, signed that blank check for that very reason. If someone would stop asking me to tell them war stories long enough to ask me what I learned from my time in the Marine Corps, I would tell them sacrifice. I watched thousands of young men and women devote their lives to this country in hopes to make a difference, many of which died trying to do so. I have lost many friends. Many were brothers that I personally served with. I eventually learned that I would never rid myself of that feeling of wishing that I could do more. No matter how hard I tried or how hard I fought, we still, to this day, continue to fight, and men and women still continue to die. I learned that people like our local hero, Daniel Swain, paid the ultimate sacrifice, attempting to make a difference in our society. I met his Gold Star family last month at a Purple Heart dinner. I had no words to offer them. Instead, I stuttered and I couldn't gather my thoughts. Since then, I've had time to think about what I had to say to him. Mr. and Mrs. Swain, if you're here, your son was my brother, though I never knew him. You are my family, though I barely even met you. It breaks my heart knowing that your son is not with us today. But I want you to know that I have not lost faith, and he did not die in vain. I still believe that America loves and appreciates him and his sacrifice. I still believe that we as a whole will never forget what he and so many others have selflessly sacrificed so that we could be here today. I love you and I offer you myself and my family if you ever need anything from us. I hope that what everyone has said here today has some sort of impact on how you will go on with the rest of your day. I hope that you know that it doesn't take a uniform, a badge, a helmet, or a gun to make a difference in our society. All it takes is someone willing to make a difference and to try. If no one went to those towers to find those trapped in the rubble, how many more would have died? If those firefighters, those EMTs, police officers, and others had not responded to that call on 9/11, how many more would have died? If Daniel Swain had not answered that call for his country and made the ultimate sacrifice, whose son would that have been? Well, I can tell you this. If no one did any of these things, I can promise you, we wouldn't be here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Now look around and be grateful for what you have, because this beautiful day with your loved ones around you is the result of true sacrifice. Thank you.